I'm arresting you on suspicion of breaching your community protection order by being
in
less than 100 metres from a police station. I'm also arresting you on suspicion of being found in an enclosed premises. Do not have to say anything that may harm defence. Do not mention one question, something which later on.
Welcome to Noxium, where police power meets public accountability.
This episode is brought to us by Brett Chamberlain. Be sure to check the link below, subscribe to his channel and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, Auditor Brett walks straight into one of the most serious and costly police errors covered on this channel. He enters a police station's privacy room, a space he had previously been permitted to access, when two officers suddenly enter and begin questioning him as though he has committed a serious offence. Brett challenges their approach, but the situation escalates rapidly as he is arrested for allegedly breaching a court order that has no connection to him whatsoever. It becomes one of the most striking cases of misidentification.
This isn't public access in here.
Yeah, but I'm in conversation with her.
I know, but this isn't a public access area, so if you can just head out into here for me.
I'm in the middle of a conversation. This is so that I can have a private conversation. Yeah, but I'm having a private conversation with him.
Okay, you're not at the minute though, so if you could just head out on here, because this is a private room. Thank you very much.
Sure. Right. What's your name again, sorry?
As I said, Tony.
Tony and Lucy, was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
And you're 8013.
7536.
And you want to know how I managed to get through there?
Yeah.
Why are you so curious about that?
See, are you not going to tell us? I
Restricted area.
mean, ultimately, we can look at the cameras. If you can tell us, that would be quicker for everyone involved, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't see what I need to tell you.
Okay, well, we'll wait.
Why are you so curious about that then?
Because there's a lot of room, that's all.
Maybe I've got superpowers.
Do we know who can access the cameras in the front office? Staff, I don't know.
The way these officers reacted, you would think Brett had bypassed security systems and entered a restricted area, but in reality, all he did was open a closed, unlocked door with no signage. In terms of policing and premises law, that distinction is critical. Without any warning or physical barrier, a member of the public has no reasonable basis to assume that a room is restricted. Brett did not force entry, bypass any security measures, or ignore any instructions. The position is straightforward. If the police expect a room to remain private, it is their responsibility to secure it. In this case, they failed to do so. That is a procedural oversight, not a criminal act. The decision to escalate by attempting to review CCTV footage, rather than acknowledging that oversight, illustrates exactly how this situation was allowed to spiral unnecessarily.
Have you just come out of custody?
No.
No.
Well, I did go and see custody.
You want to go see her?
Yeah, I was just having a look round.
Did they help you?
Well, she opened the door for me. But I was having a look round.
I think we just need to make sure that this door is secure, that's really...
Yeah.
Because you're not committing any offences, so we just need to make sure that the door is secure, that's all. I wonder if it's just been left slightly...
But that's just a private room, isn't it? So you can have a private conversation rather than having a public one out there.
Into it, were you? I'm out of the police station. I don't want you in the police station.
Why not? It's a public building.
I think you've got bail conditions not to be in.
No, I haven't.
You've got a CBO condition, have you not?
No,
What have you got then?
nothing at all.
Calm down.
What's CBO stand for?
Human behaviour order.
No, I haven't.
My colleague's just going to get some details. And we'll work it out from there.
How are you? How can I not be allowed to go in a police station then? It's like not being allowed in a hospital if you had a road accident or something. If I've got business to be in here.
The male officer refuses to allow Brett back into the police station, a public building based on nothing more than, "I think you've got a CBO." At that point, it has not even been confirmed by the colleague checking his details. It is a decision made on a hunch, treated as if it were established fact. Restricting someone's access to public services on that basis is wholly inappropriate, particularly when Brett is clearly stating that he is waiting to speak with an officer he had already been engaging with. A criminal behaviour order, CBO, is a serious post-conviction court order that imposes strict conditions on an individual's conduct and movements. It is not something an officer can assume. It must be known and verified, because getting it wrong means unlawfully restricting the rights of someone who may be entirely innocent.
What's your business to be in there?
Well, I have got business to be in there.
What's your business?
I'm inquiring and following up about an illegal arrest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that remains to be seen, isn't it?
What, as to whether it was illegal or not? You know my name, do you?
Yeah.
Because obviously that gentleman in there who's very polite actually and very helpful. He knows who I am. What would happen if I went in the police station then?
You'll be breaching whatever order it is that you've been given.
Well, I haven't been given any orders. When you get, just tell me how you get given the order, because as far as I know, there's no order. But how would it have been presented? In some sort of document form, wouldn't it?
Usually, yeah.
And I'd have had a bit of paper or a bit of writing on there saying...
Or you may have been to court.
No, I haven't been to court. Only in jury service. I'm allowed in the police station until you can prove that otherwise, aren't I?
Brett effectively does the officer's job for him, and the logic is unambiguous. If a criminal behaviour order CBO exists, it originates from a court, is formally recorded, and is properly served. An individual would have appeared before a magistrate or been officially notified, with documentation clearly outlining the terms. By calmly asking, "How would I have received it? Would I have been given documents?" Brett draws out the only reasonable conclusion. If none of that has occurred, then either the wrong person has been identified or no such order exists. Before restricting access, the officer should have followed a clear process. First, properly verify identity using full and accurate details. Second, check the relevant systems for any active CBO linked to that individual. And third, confirm that the order has been served and understand its specific terms. Code A and Code G of PACE require decisions to be based on evidence, not assumption or speculation.
No, because we don't want you in there just at the moment.
Why not?
Because we believe that you're breaching a community order.
A community order?
Yeah.
How else would the community order work then? So, for example, would it be for like antisocial behaviour or...
I believe so. I haven't seen the order myself.
Yeah, there would be, what I'm getting at is there would be a reason as to why you're not allowed to do something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be down there as well. What sort of things could you be given that sort of...
There's a multitude of things.
Oh, go on. These are what I'm interested in. Oh, yeah.
Hello. Can I just confirm your name is Julian?
Some people call me that, yeah.
Okay, fine. Julian, the time is 1:15 p.m. I'm arresting you on suspicion of breaching your community protection order by being in less than 100 metres from a police station. I'm also arresting you on suspicion of being found in an enclosed premises. You do not have to say anything that may harm defence. You do not mention one question, something which later will lie in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
But you're under arrest now, so you're not allowed to.
She asks, "Your name's Julian," and Brett replies truthfully, "Some people call me that." That response should have prompted a proper verification process, full legal name, correct spelling, date of birth, and confirmation checks, the basic standards of policing. Instead, she treats a casual nickname as a confirmed identity and moves straight to arrest. It represents a serious breakdown in procedure, and the offences she alleges only compound the issue. She arrests Brett for breaching a community protection order, then adds an allegation of being found in an enclosed premises, a claim that immediately undermines itself based on her own account.
I think we just need to make sure that this door is secure, that's really...
Yeah.
Because you're not committing any offences, so we just need to make sure that the door is secure, that's all.
She openly acknowledges that the door was not locked. She confirms that no force was used to gain entry. She accepts that no offence had taken place. And yet, despite those admissions, she proceeds to arrest him for the very conduct she has already established does not constitute a crime.
So what happened was I was arrested. They used force against me and put me in cuffs, bent my fingers back. They stuck me into the back of the police van and took me around to the custody place where I was told that I'd breached a behavioural order and I'd got into a secure area. Well, I protested my innocence and they looked into it and discovered that they'd arrested the wrong person, that there's another person with my name and date of birth who has a behavioural order against them, and they thought that was me. And like I say, arrested me for it. And then this secure area I got into, well, the door was ajar. It's in the public foyer where you have a private conversation with the police staff.
Brett was taken into custody as though he posed a serious threat, all based on an identity that had never been properly verified. Once at the station, the truth became clear almost immediately. The individual they were seeking shared the same name and date of birth, but was not Brett. That alone highlights the extent of the error. He was arrested on the basis of assumption, with no proper verification, no due diligence, and no basic safeguards against misidentification. The situation becomes even more concerning when considering the original allegation. He was accused of entering a secure area, yet even in custody, officers were forced to acknowledge what Brett had maintained throughout. The door was not locked, it was simply ajar. This was the public privacy room, a space intended for members of the public to hold confidential conversations with staff. By the time custody officers confirmed his innocence, the harm had already been done. An unlawful arrest, unnecessary use of handcuffs, and a clear breakdown in professional standards from beginning to end.
In the police station there, I had a legitimate reason to be in there. I wanted to talk to them about the previous case. Guys in the custody suite, to be fair, are nice guys. Big up Graham in the custody. But they released me, saying they'd checked the CCTV footage and seen that the door was ajar, and I just pushed the door open and went in. So it wasn't a secure area. So that's that, really. Pretty shocking to get arrested, though, for that, isn't it?
Brett's response captures the reality more clearly than any analysis could. When asked how, with modern technology, police could arrest the wrong person inside their own station, he delivers a definitive answer. A settlement of £7,000 plus legal fees, likely exceeding £20,000 in total. That figure speaks for itself. Payouts of that scale are not made unless the arrest is fundamentally indefensible. The officers did not simply make an error, they made one so significant that the only resolution was a financial settlement funded by the public. What makes this incident particularly striking is how preventable it was at every stage. Brett was not aggressive, not disruptive, and not acting suspiciously. He entered an unlocked, unmarked privacy room, a space the police themselves had failed to secure. Yet instead of being treated as a member of the public waiting to speak with an officer, he was handled as though he were a suspect in a serious investigation. As the misidentification began to unravel, there were multiple opportunities to pause, reassess, and verify the facts. Brett asked reasonable and clarifying questions. How would he have received such an order? What documentation would exist? Each of which should have prompted officers to reconsider their position. Instead, they persisted. One moment, the officer acknowledges that no offence is being committed. The next, Brett is placed in handcuffs for allegations that do not apply to him. The conclusion reinforces the scale of the failure. A settlement exceeding £20,000 once legal costs are included is not offered lightly. It reflects a situation where there is no sustainable defence. While Brett ultimately received justice, the cost was borne by the public. It is another case that highlights a fundamental truth. Competence in policing is not optional, it is essential. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support independent coverage. Also, be sure to check out Brett Chamberlain. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some support. Thanks for watching.